Okay. Doing good. We just finished up. We are still only at 98% on measurement. So we will hopefully get that up to 100% with the course challenge. And if we don't, we'll do a few extra problems. It won't be a problem at all. No worries. Okay. So up next, we're going to back out into second grade. We're almost done. We are 90% of the way through second grade. We are definitely finishing it at this in this stream. So up next, we have geometry. Now, the first bit is just identifying shapes, so this should be nice and quick. I might recommend flashcards, or again, pointing out shapes in real life, like out there in the world, is surprisingly fun. You'd be surprised the shapes that your students and your kids will be able to identify. My parents used to tell me that I would like make letters out of like crisscrossing power lines. I would see that they kind of made an A pattern, and I would say that that was an A. Yeah, that sort of thing. Which of the following shapes are trapezoids? Okay, well, let's go ahead and talk trapezoid really quick. A trapezoid, the definition, is two lines that are parallel that are connected by two lines that are not parallel. So it could look like this, it could look like this, it could even look like that. You might think of it as a rectangle that's been chopped off, right? Because all of these kind of sort of would continue to make a triangle if you really tried. So you can kind of think of a trapezoid either as a squished rectangle that's been like squished on one of the bases, or as like a part of a triangle. Another way you could look at it is like seeing a rectangle from a weird perspective if you're an artist. So which of these are trapezoids? Two parallel lines, two non-parallel lines. Looks like C and D both fit the bill. Which of the following shapes are circles? I'm not going to explain to you what a circle is. Which of the following shapes are rectangles? Well, B is a rectangle. Now, C might be a hard time for some students, all right? It says choose two answers, which is why this is going to work. But a lot of students will look at this C here, and they'll say it's either a diamond, which isn't a thing, not mathematically. Like the word diamond doesn't really mean anything in a mathematical sense. Or, more correctly, they'll say it's a square, which it is. And a lot of the time, this is a moment where students begin to get a little bit confused. Wait, if it's a square, how can it also be a rectangle? And the answer is to go outside and look at a bird and say, that's a blue jay. It's also a bird. It's also whatever Latin name it has for, scientists when they're trying to keep track of everything. One thing can have a lot of different names depending on how you're looking at it. A rectangle, all rectangle means is a shape with four right angles. Specifically, exactly four right angles. So a square, yes, is a type of rectangle. In fact, all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. Just like all blue jays are birds, but not all birds are blue jays. There are lots of other kinds of birds out there. So yes, in this case, C is also considered a rectangle. Which of the following shapes are quadrilaterals? Quadrilateral is another one of those words that actually makes sense when you think about it. Quad means four. Lateral means side or flat or whatever. Like lateral movement means moving from side to side. So quadrilateral just means four sides. So anything that has four sides, four straight sides, admittedly. Anything that has four straight sides is a quadrilateral. A is a quadrilateral. B is not. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. It is a pentagon. C has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, but one of them is all curvy. It's not a quadrilateral. Got to have four straight sides. Which of the following shape are rhombuses? Okay, a rhombus. A rhombus means four equal sides. Yes, if you're thinking right now, wait a second, don't squares have equal sides? The answer is yes, 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 yes. A square is also a type of rhombus. In fact, a square is sort of the intersection between a rectangle and a rhombus. It has four right angles and it has four equal sides. A rhombus does not have to have right angles like a rectangle does. And a rectangle does not have to have equal sides like a rhombus does. But when you have both together, you make a square. So let's see which of these have four equal sides. Well, this one has equal sides, but there are 5 of them, so that is a regular pentagon, not a rhombus. B is a trapezoid. C looks like it could be. These sides look all the same length, so I'll go ahead and say C. And D is a square, which, as I just said, is indeed also a rhombus. Another way that I have been able to help little kids understand that one thing can be labeled in multiple different ways, or sometimes with teenagers that have the same problem, is I let them know, well, my name is Professor Cunningham on this stream. In a classroom, I'm Mr. Cunningham because I'm not actually a professor. I don't teach at a college. The whole professor thing is just a holdover from when I used to make Pokemon videos. My friends call me Rob. I've had various nicknames over the years. I was called Robert when I was a kid. My dad and mom, when I was young, used to call me Spud. All different ways to refer to me, and all accurate, because it all depends on who I'm talking to and what the context is. Both of these are rhombuses, but it's also okay for a student to go, wait a second, D is also a square. And yes it is. Which of the following shapes are triangles? Triangle just means 3 corners, right? Tri means 3, angle means corner. So A is definitely a triangle. B looks like it's trying to be a triangle, but it doesn't quite get there. It's got to be a closed shape. It's got to be a closed shape. You cannot say it's a shape if it doesn't actually like meet back up. That is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a pentagon. It has 5 sides. And D looks like a triangle, no problem. Which of the following shapes are squares? Well, that would be A and D. So far, so good. Let's talk about classifying shapes. What do they mean by that? How can we classify the following shape? Ah, it's a triangle. That makes sense. How about this one? Well, again, 2 parallel lines, right? There are 2 lines going straight up and down. 2 lines that aren't parallel. That's a trapezoid. Oh, it's also a quadrilateral. Did you see how Khan Academy didn't mark me wrong there? I'm really, really glad that that happened, and you couldn't see because I'm sitting on the thing. When I just hit trapezoid only, it popped up a message that said you're almost there, but there's another answer that's correct. And I really like that because it means that I'm not getting penalized for getting part of the right answer It's just reminding me that there's another part as well. So yes, it is also a quadrilateral. And I actually did get credit for that problem. Bravo, Khan Academy. So this is a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides. It's definitely not a square because it doesn't have those right angles. But it does look like a rhombus because it has all 4 equal sides. I'm not going to measure it, but they look equal to me. Let's see. This looks like a quadrilateral to me. It's not a rectangle because it doesn't have right angles. It's not a square because it's not a rectangle. We will later on, I think in 3rd or 4th grade, call this a parallelogram. But for now, we just call it a quadrilateral, and that is all. How can we classify the following shape? Well, it's not a quadrilateral because even though it has 4 sides, one of them's all curved. It's not a rectangle. It's not a trapezoid. It's none of the above. Always remember that none of the above is a valid answer, and you'd be surprised how often it ends up coming up. That looks like a square to me, but it's also other things, so let's take a look. It is a quadrilateral. It has 4 sides. It is a rectangle. It has 4 right angles. It is a square. It has 4 right angles and all the sides are equal. It's all 3 of those. Yes, it is. And that looks like a circle to me. Classify shapes, all done. Moving on. We got analyze shapes. How many sides does a quadrilateral have? And again, all you have to do is remember that quad or quadra means 4. Quadrilateral has 4 sides. Which shape has 4 sides? Well, of these, a circle only sort of has 1 curvy side. A triangle has 3 sides. A trapezoid has 4 sides. How many faces does a cube have? I wish I had like a dice or something on me. Or a pair of dice on me or something. But a cube actually has 6 faces. If you don't believe me, oh, here we go. This isn't quite a cube. It's more of a prism, but you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 faces. Ah. Which shape has 8 sides? Well, now we're back to counting, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 8. Again, relying on the stuff that we've been doing in the past and connecting it with the new stuff. And yes, the fact is that the stuff from the past is just counting, but it's really nice to see that we are in 2nd grade still making sure we refresh now and then to make sure that we remember how to count, because it can be easy to forget some stuff. And that's analyze shapes. Now we're going to analyze shapes by angles. How many angles does a trapezoid have? Now, here is sort of a rule that is really important for students to notice. And if they don't believe you, you should absolutely have them try to find a counterexample. That is an excellent, excellent idea. Okay? Any shape and we're going to call these shapes polygons, although I don't know if that wording is going to be introduced in 2nd grade. But I'm specifically talking about polygons. And it will always have the same number of sides as angles. Or as corners. Let's keep going. How many angles does a trapezoid have? That is 4 angles. Which shape has 4 angles? Again, all you got to do is count. That's all. Which shape has 4 angles? That looks like it has 4, but let's check the others as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3. Which shape has 5 angles? Well, again, 5 angles means 5 sides, so it's a pentagon. And again, A pentagon is any shape that has 5 sides. We are used to like a regular pentagon, like the Pentagon like building, right? The Pentagon building looks like a regular pentagon with all the sides the same, but any shape that has 5 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is still a pentagon. A home plate in baseball is a pentagon, 5 sides. How many angles does a triangle have? Well, that'd be 3. All right, we have analyzed shapes by angles. Let's move on to quiz 1 in geometry, which will just be some more identifications. So unless we come up with something new, I'm just going to blitz through this. That's a trapezoid. That's a trapezoid. Which one has 5 angles? That would be this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. God, this is what happens when I go too fast. How many sides does a triangle have? That would be 3. This looks like a square, but it's just a square. Which shape has 3 angles? That would be a triangle. Okay. I'm not satisfied with that. Let's go ahead and take it again really fast. That's a circle. That's a circle. Which shape has 5 sides? That would be a pentagon. An octagon has 8 angles. That looks like a triangle. And which of the following are rectangles? That would be B and C. There we go. Because it was a nice, quick, easy 100% to get back, I went ahead and did it again.